Hello, I'm Pamela Davis. Welcome to episode 149 of the Well Done Life podcast. Hello, and welcome back to episode 149 of the Well Done Life podcast. I'm your host, Pamela Davis. If you are new here, hey, how are you? Welcome. I am so glad that you're here with us this week. If you've been here before, you guys know the deal. I love you deep. Thank you so much for continuing to support me. Before we get started, I always like to make sure that I set the foundation. I feel like a broken record, but it's just so important to me to make sure that you understand that this safe space, this house that we are building is built on two very important foundations, and that is clarity and love. Clarity is really straightforward. I just want to make sure that you understand that I created the Well Done Life podcast because I believe that women are the foundation of society. I think we need spaces and places where we can be our most authentic self. And that's what this space is for. We laugh, we cry, we share, we learn, and I hope that we inspire each other to be our best selves. So welcome. And then that leads into my favorite thing, which is love. Love is the thing. I'm a sucker for love. And I like to make sure that you know that everything that we do in this space is rooted in love. And I like to make sure that I send you prayers every week because I want you to know that you are cared for and thought of in the highest regard. And I also feel like when two or more people come together in prayer, we magnify our prayer. So I want to make sure that this week, I am sending you prayers of peace. Things are so chaotic. It's been such a busy time. We are all trying to manifest all of the things. Make sure that you carve out moments of peace for yourself. Don't feel upset, embarrassed, or afraid to let someone know, you know what, I just need an honest 15-20 minutes to myself before I get ready to do the next thing. Or if you have to step away to take a breath, take that breath. Do whatever is necessary to preserve your peace because you can't move to your next level if you're barely hanging on to where you are right now. So give yourself peace. On top of peace, I definitely would also recommend that we give ourselves grace. I think grace is always sufficient. Grace is always available for those who seek it. And I think we need to seek grace. We need to give ourselves the grace necessary to understand that we are doing our absolute best, even when that best may only equate to maybe 40 or 50% in someone's eyes. You know what though? It's our best. And that is really good enough. As well as also we have to make sure that we give grace to other people. You don't know what other people are really going through, what they're facing, and who are we to judge someone else's situation when we're trying to do the very best with our own? So sometimes we just need to extend grace in certain situations and to ourselves. So I hope that you will give yourself some of that as well as give it to other people. And then along that line, I always kind of end out my prayers with this one. It's never ending, I guess, for abundance. I am believing and claiming a never-ending season of abundance for you. I want the best for you. I want you to be blessed financially as well as spiritually on all levels. And this is a season of abundance, so I am claiming all the great things for you. So those are my prayers this week. I hope that they are magnified. I hope that you will feel them. And I hope that your week is going well. It is Tuesday at 8:51 p.m., April the 18th. And definitely it has been a very fast-paced week. But I'm very excited about being here with you guys this week. And we have a guest. I have another guest. And before we dive into that conversation, I hope that you all got a chance to check out last week's episode 148, The Warrior on the Rise with Janora Lene. We had a great conversation about Janora's journey, entrepreneurship, surviving divorce, finding our happy, spirituality. We talked about it all and it was a really good conversation. So I will definitely make sure that I link it in the show notes for you because like I was telling you guys before, I really do feel like in this season, most of the women that I'm encountering, we are all in this season of transformation, this season of abundance and growth. And we are processing and trying to find ways to preserve our happy while also preserving our dreams. So kind of going along in that vein, I'm very excited to welcome Alisha Small to the Well Done Life podcast. Alisha is a life coach. She is a motivator and an inspiring person, and her journey has definitely been one of many challenges. But her passion for helping other women is just so beautiful. So I am very excited about sharing her with you. So if you'll sit back, relax, grab a cup of water, tea, wine, whatever floats your boat, and she will be with you in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Alisha Small. I am a certified life personal development coach and the CEO and founder of Living Fulfilled Coaching. I work with individuals and groups to achieve total wellness with intentional self-care. So that is what we are talking about today, all things self-care. And as you can see, I am super excited. I'm super grateful to be here. And I'm ready to have this well-needed conversation.
Oh, I'm very excited to have you here. This is like the best self-care break I could get during the week because, during we're working, it's just hectic. It's go time. So having a chance to sit down and talk with you is really a pleasure. So thank you again for coming. So I have a question for you. Obviously, living fulfilled is a very big part of your brand. Are you living fulfilled right now?
I absolutely am living fulfilled. I think that the biggest part, let me go back a little bit. I started my first business in 2016, which was a private transportation company for children in Brooklyn, New York. I think you can tell by my accent.
Yes.
Brooklyn. But I'm in the DMV area now, and I had to step back from that business during COVID. And that was also around the time that I came into my love for life coaching and just a love for personal development, starting specifically with millennial women. And I had went through my own things in 2020. And so what that taught me, without going into depth right now, what that taught me with heavily invested in my own personal development, it showed me something on the business side. And one of the things was for me to develop trust with my audience and authenticity. And one of the biggest ways that I did that was my own lived experiences. I can't tell you to practice intentional self-care and this is how it may work for you if I'm not actually living it. So my whole brand is around my story, how I went from 2 kids to scares and emotional eating and high functioning depression and almost failed marriage to over 50 pounds down and still counting and building a network to some place where I moved, with my 3 children and I didn't have any friends or family here. And I have a whole network here. And I did all of these things and went back to school. And I have a growing and thriving coaching business after losing one business in a pandemic. And I did all of this in under 2 years, within 2 years.
Wow. That's amazing. Because I was going to say, I felt like the pandemic really was one of those times for a lot of us where it was like the reset that we needed.
Yeah.
None of us want to admit that in certain ways, but it was like the reset we needed because we were just going so hard into things that they made good money, but they may not have fulfilled us inside.
Yeah.
And so it sounds like you got a lot of opportunity to kind of like reset with everything that you've gone through during that time frame.
Yeah.
What is one of the most impactful things that you feel like you've learned about yourself?
How strong I really am. And redefining what strong is and disrupting what strong isn't. What has been normalized through society and even through my own lineage, right?
Yeah.
What a strong woman is supposed to look like, and through my own journey, understanding that I reject that, right? Because what I thought strong was being there and having my door open and having my home open, having my heart open, having my mind open to everyone who needed it, even if I didn't have the capacity, the mental, emotional, spiritual capacity to do so. and that's absolutely wrong, right? I felt like I had to do that. My value and what I was worth was attached to what I did and how much I did.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I think a lot of us, and I know myself, I've had that feeling. I think a lot of women have, where, because that's how we're raised, we are raised in a lot of ways to just constantly be everything to everybody. And at the detriment of ourselves. And many of us don't discover it until it's at the detriment, when we're at those breaking points. Is that kind of, again, it sounds like that's part of your journey as well. You discovered it in your breaking moments.
Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And knowing that I had too many of these moments and making a decision like, is this how you want to show up in the world? Or what do you really want?
Right. And I don't think a lot of us think about it like that, about like, what do we really want? It's more of you're at the breaking point, or for me, maybe it was, and I was trying to figure out, how am I going to survive this? Because I'm at the bottom and there just doesn't seem to be any way out of the bottom. Yeah. So you dug your way back. What is one of the main things that helped you dig your way back?
I want to start with my mental wellness. Mm-hmm. I started there first. I think I spoke a little bit about my weight loss journey and the issues that I had around my health. And I've always been the bigger girl. I struggled with emotional eating all my life that was attached to, some unresolved childhood trauma, mm-hmm. And just having the need to have that control. And I, when I ate, regardless of whether I was happy, sad, up, down, that was a way of me having control. I can control what I eat when I eat it. And that tricking myself into thinking that made me feel better. And I've lost weight. I've lost 20 pounds. So I didn't have a weight issue. I had a mindset issue.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And
mm-hmm.
Once I addressed my mindset issue and I got more deeply rooted into God and my spiritual wellness, it was like a domino effect. So it wasn't about me necessarily losing the weight. Losing the weight was the byproduct of me doing everything else, really making that decision about what type of woman was I growing into, how I wanted to show up in the world for myself first as a woman, and then as a mother, and then as a wife, and all other titles, being disciplined and obedient and deeply rooted in my spirituality, which is God, and taking care of that first. And like I said, everything else was a domino effect. So because I did that and I decided that I deserved to live a healthy lifestyle, right? It wasn't a question about my worth, because that's what it was before. I didn't feel necessarily worthy of looking a certain way or living a healthy lifestyle. And those were the things that I had to address. Once I did that, then I lost the weight. I made it. My decision was to live a plant-based lifestyle. That was what was best for me. Mm-hmm. And then once doing that, and then that built my confidence, that built my resilience. And then those things, those foundational skills and those soft skills that I was able to strengthen showed up in all areas of my life. So now, before, even though I had a business and I was really good at what I did, I faced like a lot of imposter syndrome. It used to like literally give me goosebumps to even talk about my business and my service, and that I believed in, but I didn't necessarily believe in myself. And now I can go out. I love to actually go out by myself, actually, but I can go out, and networking is my thing. As you can see, I love to talk. This wasn't me a few years ago, but this was all,
What was the turning point for that? Because I think, again, a lot of women struggle with talking about ourselves, bragging on all the great things that we bring to the table. We struggle. We can brag on everybody else, but we just cannot talk about us, because you're right. The tying to your self-worth is so important. What was a breakthrough moment for you on your self-worth journey?
So I think I was 36. So this is 2020. I'll be 39 in a month or so.
Okay.
So 2020, I had 2 cancer scares. Again, I did a big move. I just up and moved my children in the middle of the pandemic from Brooklyn to Maryland.
Right.
I was going through some things in my marriage. I had high functioning depression and emotional eating. And then I went to the doctor and I was at my highest weight of 330 pounds. And because of that, I started to have severe back issues. I'm 36.
Okay.
I'm 36. And so towards the end of the year, they weren't cancerous, but they were rapidly becoming abnormal.
Okay.
And so I decided to have a small outpatient surgery. And, after, laying on the table for as short as a time period that it was. And I've been in this space many times in my journey to where, okay, I'm back pouring into everyone else and everything and everyone else around me and neglecting my own wellness. But it was something about laying on that table and getting these cells lasered off. And it's just like, this is getting worse. This is not getting better. And I came home. I remember talking with my husband and my children, first having a conversation with myself, getting in coach mode and coaching myself and like, right. I was at a crossroads, and it was life and death, right?
Yeah.
What is the sense of me working this hard and sticking with my why and going up and just doing this thing if I'm not doing everything that's in my control to live long enough to see the fruits of my labor and really live, not survive, right? Not survive the day to day, really live, really be able to internalize and enjoy my children, enjoy my husband, really enjoy my life. These are things that I can control.
Right.
And so I had to reevaluate my own core values and belief. Do I really believe what I say I'm believing? Because it's not aligned with my actions.
Right.
Every day, as harsh as it is to say, and as harsh as it was at that time to hear, I was doing something. I was doing the reverse. I was doing something every day to slowly kill myself. Which went against what I thought I believed. So I had to step back and I had to ask the question, what do you really want? What are we doing here? Right? Are you going to keep doing this at the detriment of your health? And you could possibly leave behind 3 beautiful children and a husband that you say that you love so much and a life that you love so much, or you want to stop and get your house in order? You're gonna stop. These things will be here, right? And you can't. And I realized that, and then that's when I started to really realize my worth. My worth wasn't attached to how much I did or how much I was there for people. My worth was attached to how well I took care of myself. I can't win it if I'm not in it. I can't partner with women. I can't serve the underserved. I can't be a good mother. I can't love and heal in the capacity and speak and inspire in the capacity that I am destined to do, that I was put on this earth to do, fulfill my purpose if I'm not well. And that was just as simple as that. So what was I going to do?
And that's a really real point to be at, because like you said, it's like rubber met the road. It's like what you gonna do, player? It's like you either gonna do right or you just gonna keep trying to do it your way. And obviously your way is led you here. So what are you gonna do? And that's to me, a very hard place to be, because it is so difficult sometimes to be honest with ourselves, It's easier to we obviously want to speak positively and be affirming to ourselves because that's what we should be. But there are moments that you have to be honest with where you are and speak lovingly to yourself to the point where you are going to change your life. So you made that decision to change your life. And in making that, in having that moment for yourself, kind of not obviously everyone's not going to follow your path, but what are some of the things that you did to help you along in that journey? Because that sounds like the beginning point, if I'm understanding that correctly.
Yeah, it was the beginning point. So it started off, and that's how once I got to a certain point, that's how I formulated, Living Fulfills coaching, 5-step approach to implementing intentional self-care. And the first step is you have to decide. You have to, we live in a very fast-paced world. And so the biggest myth about self-care is I don't have time. You do have time. It's what's a priority to you, right? You always have time, right?
Right.
So, and so you have to create space and time. And this starts the building of the self-awareness piece, right? Because if you don't know yourself, you can't possibly know what you need in this where you are right now. And so you have to make a solid decision. What do you really want? What type of legacy do you want to leave behind? How do you want to show up in the world? What type of woman do you want to become? Right. And then, like you said, that's a hard space to be in, because with being honest with yourself, then you have to take accountability. And that's not easy all the time. Right. Because then you have to say, well, maybe I've been my own worst enemy. Right? Maybe, like I told you, I had to do my core values and beliefs. Right. Are they really my core values and beliefs? Do they align with what I'm doing? Is what I'm doing on a daily basis, my habits, my routine, are they aligned with who I say I want to become? Right? Yeah, right. So, and it's okay if you don't want to be who you say you want to be, but be honest and make a decision, right? Make an informed decision. I learned to never say, we got too much information out here, and we have access to too many things to say, well, I didn't know. No, you didn't want to know. And that's okay too, if that's your choice. Right? True.
But you got to be honest about that choice.
Living your truth. And then once you make that decision, then you start to build on your self-awareness, creating that space and time to get to know who you are. I had to reintroduce myself to myself. And I learned so much about myself at 36, right? Understanding that I didn't really want the same things that I wanted last year or 6 months from then. And who was I, the woman, in that moment, right? Because I got lost in being a mother. I got lost in being a wife. And at that moment, I'll be really transparent. I was in a hard situation with having a husband that was incarcerated. So what he needed, what the kids needed, what the business needed, and I had to push all of that to the side, get my house in order. I even stopped actively. I wasn't, if you follow my journey in my social media, I wasn't actively selling anything, right? I wanted to take my audience, my attempt to have my audience get to know me and trust me in what I'm saying was them going through the journey with me, right? Them seeing me evolve over the past 2 years and what I'm doing. You don't have to believe anything that I'm saying. Look at my life.
Right.
I'm not going to tell you to do anything that I'm not doing. So taking that, once I decided who I wanted to become, strengthening my self-awareness, what I needed as Alisha at 36, the woman at that moment in time. And then I was able to start creating some goals for myself. And I had a clear vision of the woman that I was becoming, who I wanted to become. And I got laser focused and I stuck to that. And my top priority, what was my top priority? It was what my wellness. And I didn't play around with that, right? Because I knew that there was going to come a point in time where people were going to see this, and I had to show and prove, right?
Right.
For myself first. But made a decision, started giving myself the space and grace, right? Yes. For the things that I knew that I wasn't doing, forgiving myself for the mistakes that I made, right? That's a big deal, especially with women of color, forgiving ourselves. And then after forgiving ourselves and giving ourselves grace, rebooting, going back and say, and I'm still worthy.
Right. Because the journey doesn't continue. It never ends. It just continues.
It's a continuous process, making those goals for myself, reassessing some things, making those goals for myself, being committed, right? Because I learned to think about commitment too, right? Because, we get pumped up, we hear something, hear motivational speaking. Yeah. And we wake up and tomorrow's not a good day.
Yeah.
How committed are we, right? So reassessing my why and all of that. And once I got that down pat and the commitment part, saying that every day, regardless of how I feel, what I need to do, I'm going to stay committed to this.
Yeah. And that's key. I mean, that's key.
And then taking action, consistent, and not focusing on understanding that my action was about consistency and not how much I did. So, for example, when I started back getting my health in order, because I had back issues, and I'll be generous if I say I could stand up even 5 minutes without being bent over. I started off walking 2 minutes a day.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I ended up running my first 5K like some months down the line. So it was,
oh my gosh, congrats.
My idea around, because I'll admit, we all get caught in looking at other people's journey and using social media as a tool to measure our own success. And I learned to stop doing that, right? Mm-hmm. And so it was about creating realistic goals, right? Making them SMART goals. It would align with my life. Mm-hmm. It was real for me. What's real for a woman with 3 kids is not necessarily the same as somebody that doesn't have kids, Right. So being realistic about what I can do and championing myself and celebrating myself every step along the way.
I love that because, yes, I'm a big advocate of small bites and celebrations along the way because you need it, especially when you're in it because, every day is not a good day. And there are a lot more bad days and good days when you're on the journey. Let's just be honest about it. With that, how did you obviously keep yourself engaged? Because I know one thing that you mentioned, obviously, was talking about the impacts of making this decision, for yourself. But at the same time, you have a family. Yeah. You had children. Your husband was incarcerated. I mean, did you battle the fear of being selfish? Because I think a lot of us battle those feelings like I'm being selfish by prioritizing me over everybody else. And if you did battle that, how did you speak to that type of feeling?
In the beginning, and I want to say, especially for mothers, that's a normal feeling to have. We are, as women, whether you're a mother or not, we are just natural nurturers, right? Mm-hmm. And so we could see a situation that has absolutely nothing to do with us, but we can determine that someone needs help, and we're going to go and help. Yes. We'll even out you even asking. That's just us, right? Mm-hmm. And that's okay. That's one of our superpowers, and so how I dealt with that when those feelings would come up, and honestly, sometimes those feelings come up now, but I always go back to how much I give. How much I pour out. I'm a woman that loves to be loved. I love hard. I give hard. I protect hard. I give big, right? And because I give big, I take care of myself that same way. I learned to fill my cup and keep whatever's in there for me. I keep that for me unapologetically. And then whatever else spills over is for everyone else, because I go hard. I go hard for my family. I go hard for my community. I am passionate about servant leadership. So, I go hard for my people, my clients. I give so much, that's something that I'm passionate about. And so because I give out so much, I have to pour just as much back in.
I love that. And yes, that is key because many times we miss that in servitude to other people. So I think that is a great thing. And people need to remember that when you are working with clients, because you do go so hard, kind of like what is the beginning process of someone coming to work with you?
And so the beginning process is just usually they already seek me out, whether it be through social media or Googling. They went on my website and then they would just, reach out to me. We have, I do a consultation, and it's basically to get to know the person, because I can tell whether you are at that point that you're ready for personal development or life coaching or you're not. And I'm very honest about it because my thing is that I partner with you. I always, so people have this idea about coaching and they think that they're coming to a place where someone is going to tell you what to do. No, it's not that easy, right? You do the work. I hold you accountable. I partner with you because who am I to tell somebody what to do with their life, right? You're the master of your life. And when my clients come to me, I let them know that everything that you need, you already have within you. I don't want you to go to anyone, to a coach, to a therapist, to a mentor, to anyone thinking that you don't already have the capacity and what you need to fulfill your dreams or whatever it is that you want to do, right? Because I think that that's kind of demeaning.
Agreed.
To think that you don't already have it. What we do in my coaching sessions is we partner. I hold you accountable. I make you work. I make you critically think. Right? This is work, right? Because the thing is that it's only going to work if you work it.
Right.
Everybody's not if I work it, right? And so we sit down. Like again, we have those sessions. We figure out if your core values and beliefs are aligned with your daily habits and routines, what it is that you really want. What does your future self look like, right? Because when you can clearly see that and get the clutter and stuff out the way and start to critically think about who that woman or man is, because I work with men too.
Okay.
And now the floodgates open up and you're like, oh my God, I never thought about this, or I never saw things this way. You can start to shift your mindset and your perspective, right? And now you can start changing your behavior.
Right.
That's a big thing.
I like that approach because I think, sometimes getting a coach can be intimidating to folks. And it is. And you just also need that alignment with somebody who is honestly going to make you work. Because you're right. If you don't have skin in the game, it's just not going to be a successful relationship. So I love how you have that process. When you're working with clients, typically, is there like a timeline that you guys work in, or is that more like individualized based upon that person's needs?
It's individualized. So I have a set of sessions, we can do it individually, we can do it group. They can, if they feel that they need more long-term coaching, there's a package for that. If they feel that they want to do, if they need help with something specific and they don't feel like they need 2 or 4 months or 6 months or anything longer than that, then they can do individually. It's basically up to the person. And even if they feel like they need long-term coaching, they get coached based on it will align with their own schedule. So I have my own business hours. So within those business hours, they pick whatever it is that's aligned with their schedule.
Okay, cool. So it sounds like it's, obviously it's a customized solution. And I think a lot of people need to remember that. And I wanted to highlight it because I think sometimes as we're looking at resources online, a lot of it can be, very generic and everybody's needs are different. So I always kind of feel like it is better when you align with people who are more customized to what your specific needs are, your schedule is, because you're going to be more committed to moving forward with it. And that's really what all of this is about. So I love that. Now, I know this is probably going to sound like a really random question, but it just totally came to my mind. So I have to ask, with your love of obviously your passion for coaching, not even necessarily love, your passion for coaching, are you also coaching folks through self-care? Because I noticed that, self-care is also a very big part of you. How do you work with people in regards to that as well? Or does that ever even come up when you're coaching people?
That's mainly what I do. I started off specifically working with millennial women. And then once I went through my own journey, I'm like, this is it, right? I decided to niche down, specifically working with women to achieve total wellness, right? Through intentional self-care. That's the prerequisites to success in any areas of your life. And I don't think that that's talked about enough, that self-care piece, that personal development, those core foundational skills required just to be successful at life, whether you work for sanitation or you're a CEO, right? And so I decided that was that. Most recently, I've been blessed to actually work with different populations. So what started off as just women went from me working with children, elementary school children to high school children. Now I just closed an opportunity. I'll be working with recently incarcerated women. They're re-entering back into society, domestic violence survivors, women and men in transitional housing that dealt with substance abuse. So my territory is expanding by way of intentional self-care because it's for everyone. Everyone deserves, regardless of their background, everyone not only deserves, but it is actually a requirement, right, for long-term stability, how you take care of yourself.
Agreed.
What is for you, because it's not one size fits all. What I do, what I feel like is best to take care of me as the woman that I am today is not the same for someone else. So, like I said, disrupting those ideas of what self-care really is and busting up, all of those notions. And we have so many, self-care gurus and everybody's talking about self-care and you should do this and you should do that. But self-care is also soul work. Does that feed your soul? Does that align with your soul? It might work for me. It may feed my soul, but that may not be for you, and that's okay.
Agreed. And it's funny now that's perfect because I have two questions because I totally agree with all of that. Yes. Now, my first question, what is feeding your soul currently?
Oh, what is feeding my soul currently? Oh, first and foremost, God is feeding my soul. I wake up in the morning. That's the first thing that I start with. That's the last thing that I end with in my day. My wellness is feeding my soul in all areas of my life. So that means mental, emotional, physical, social, financial. And so therapy is feeding my soul. I am pro-therapy.
Same.
Right? I am pro-therapy. I go to therapy every other Friday, happily. This is a part of, I have coaches, I have mentors, I have a therapist, and this allows me to stay aligned with myself, making sure that as I grow, I constantly have the tools to deal with life as it comes. And so and then I am aligned and I'm equipped to help other people.
Yes.
Being outdoors feeds my soul. Being active, and it's not always, being in the gym. I'll be honest with you, I do not like working out. I specifically didn't like working out at home. That's something that my husband got me into, and then once I made it my own, and I had my plants around me. I could open my backyard door, open up all the windows. It was really good for me. It was something that I fought him on for years. I need to be outside, but I was able to make it my own. So I just love being active. I love feeding my soul is traveling, being with my family, being around love, true love, right? Unwavered love, and just, like I said, servant leadership feeds my soul. I do a lot of volunteer work and helping people. I think that once I found my purpose, life stopped being about me. Yes. Right? Because so many people leave this earth, never get into that point. And I'm still young. I'm in my prime. Right? So some people leave this earth. I had a woman, and it was so humbling. Just want to tell this short story.
Oh, sure.
I did an intentional self-care workshop at a retreat for a nonprofit. And there was a woman, and she was 74 years old.
Oh, wow.
And she came to me, and, just for her to tell me how much value she found in my workshop and the things that I was saying about taking care of yourself, because she came from a time where, that was grandma's time. For some of mama's time. My mom is 71 years old. So self-care wasn't even a thing. Right. We talk about that wasn't normalized. And again, they came from a time where you served your husband, you served your children, you served while you led while bleeding. Yes. And so to hear me speak and to hear me talk about these things, it resonated with her. And I was just like, at 74, like I'm a baby, like I'm a newborn. And so that was like, that feeds my soul. That gives me life. Me being able to connect people and help them with resources in any way, whether it's my time, whether it's monetary resources, whether it's a connection. If I could connect you with someone, because the thing is that we all have our own different purposes in life, and we all have our different paths, but the bigger goal is the same, and we all want to succeed. We all want to live life fulfilled. We all want to experience joy in this lifetime. And if I can be a part of that in someone's life, that is what feeds my soul.
I love it. Yes. Your life just sounds so well-rounded and beautiful. And like you really fought really hard to create that type of space for yourself. And I think that that's beautiful and admirable, because I think more women, especially Black women, we have to fight for that type of life. Because you're right. My mom was 76 and self-care was not a thing for them. And so our generation, I think about it, we have an opportunity to change that and make a whole nother younger generation see the benefits of living life fully, not just being everything to everybody, but being everything also to yourself. And I think that is a beautiful thing. How do you, with you being a mom and obviously being so passionate about this space, how do you incorporate this type of practice within your family? Like, is this more of, does your family adapt to this type of practice as well?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That is, and so I was really intentional about that. The type of culture that I created in my home, the new family culture and routines and traditions, right? And so it's normal for us to have family night and talk about our mental health and what it is that we're going through. My family, we're in therapy. My children have therapists. That's normal. So it's normal for my children to be able to respectfully, right, express their feelings.
Right.
It's normal for me, because I'm not perfect, right? Nobody is, and this is a lifelong journey. So I'm still continuing to grow. So sometimes I lose my SHIT, right? And so it's normal for me to check myself, hold myself accountable, and apologize to my children, right? Because I can't ask them to do something that I'm not doing.
Yeah.
Right. And so when I know that, maybe I made a big deal, I made a mountain out of a molehill because I was aggravated. Right. I'm very transparent with my children. I'm very, they know to respect my personal space. And they also know as children, they deserve their personal space and their time to do whatever it is that they need to do to get their mental health together. That's what's normalized. That's my home culture. We eat a certain way. We respect each other. We are transparent with each other. We are loving to each other. Just teaching them being because me and my husband are their model, right? Yeah. When we think about what was modeled for us, when I became a mother at 21 years old, my oldest son is going to be 17 in a few weeks. I modeled what I saw.
Right.
And once I realized that what I saw and what I was starting to implement early on in my son's life was not healthy at all, then I became intentional, even though at the time I didn't really know how to go about that. I didn't have anyone to go to show me. I found my way through as time went on, but I was very intentional from the beginning of my growth journey that I wanted to model something different for my children. In order for me to model that, I had to be that. So I had to change myself first.
Yeah. And I think a lot of us are on those journeys now where we're learning how to break those habits. Because you're right. Many people did not grow up in that type of environment where you had your parents apologize to you and stuff like that. So you're modeling the type of environment that I think is very key to helping create children that are able to be emotionally intelligent and emotionally available throughout their life because they understand how to control it. And I am seeing more and more of that. I have to admit, I'm very fortunate. My sister and I, we grew up in that type of environment. Our parents were those type of people. As my mom and dad like to tell us, it was like the gift and the curse. It was like, yes, you're very emotionally intelligent and available, but then you also, when we're checking them and they used to have to swallow their pride too. It was tough. It's like a 50-50, but the benefits to your children, to your relationships going forward are just totally life-changing. So I love how you create this entire circle of development and self-care in your home. So I kind of have some like rapid fire questions I'm going to ask you because I feel like you have so much zen and chi. I just kind of have to know, girl, I know there's some other areas of your life. Yeah. We just gotta let me ask you some questions, and these are not like crazy questions.
No, it's okay. I'm very transparent and open.
Yeah.
I don't hold back much because I always say, my story could be somebody else's survival guide. So however it is, I can serve.
Okay. I know you got this. And I can already tell because I get such great energy from you. So one question I was going to ask is, are you happy? But I already kind of feel like are you really happy? Like, I feel like I already know the answer. I feel like you are, but I'm curious. Are you really happy?
I don't operate in happiness because happiness is contingent upon external things. 1 minute you're happy, 1 minute you're sad. I operate in joy. And yes, I experience joy every day, and that's a choice.
Okay, so let me rewind that because that really blew my mind. So you don't operate in happiness, but you operate in the cycle of joy.
Yes.
Okay, so you are at this point you feel joyful.
Or every day I make a choice to like I had a rough week from Thursday. I had some something that I would say was a traumatic experience that happened to me, and it shook me. And I'm still going through the motions, but like I said, it's a choice. I am rooted heavily in my faith, and that means that I always choose to have a mindset of even if this is going on in my life, yes, I'm going to be intentional about my wellness and give myself the space to feel whatever it is I need to feel. I'm a human being. I'm a human woman with feelings and things of that nature. But even with that going on, I understand that that was just a small part of what happened in my life. And I am going to have maybe not many more, but there are going to be times in my life where I'm going to have difficult points in my life. Mm-hmm. But that's the difference between me knowing when I had a bad moment and a bad day. Everything is not a bad day. I might have woke up and I might have stubbed my toe, and that was just a moment. But I choose to live in joy in spite of. That is my choice every day. I understand that I got to wake up to my children. I got to wake up to my family, my 3 beautiful children. And every time that you turn on the news or I have the ring and they get the notification, there's so many women that didn't wake up to their children or didn't wake up to their spouses or didn't get their kids on the bus or, just didn't get another opportunity to be the best version of themselves. And if I can, and I always have a choice. We always have a choice. No matter we think that we're in a situation where we really don't have a choice, but you always have a choice. And why not choose joy?
Wow. Well, I am so glad that you chose joy and that you're choosing joy. And I'm definitely sending you hugs and prayers for whatever you're going through. But I admire you for following through on joy. I was going to ask you, what is your word of 2023? But is it joy, or is there another word of 2023 that you have?
2023 for me is the year of more. More joy, more love, more self-care, more wellness, total wellness, more servant leadership, just more living, just more is the year of more.
I love that. All right. With the year of more, I'm definitely embracing more, and I am definitely hoping and praying for you to have more. Yeah, I love that. And so then with this season of more and your choice of joy, if you were to say, like, because I always ask everybody the same question, I feel like music and stuff are like the soundtracks of our life at times. what song would you put on right now to help you cultivate that?
I would say, what is the, let me see. It's between, and I love Ty Tribbett, so I'll say, Ty Tribbett and Fantasia, I Made It.
Oh, yeah. I love that. Yeah.
Right? Because when we think about it, even in our hard times, right? And if you're watching this, and if you are, even if you're listening to it, the fact that you're alive today, you've made it through all your worst days.
Yep. Yeah.
Sometimes we don't think about it when we're in it. It's hard to think about it when we're in it, and it seems unbearable, right? But if you take time to just step out of what it is that you're going through and let that be what it is in that moment, right? Still giving yourself grace and space to feel what you need to feel. You have to think about, you are not who you were yesterday. And even having the mindset like, okay, I'm going through this experience, whatever it may be, whether it be maybe small or maybe it may be traumatic, taking that and using that as an opportunity for growth.
Yeah.
Right? That's that introspective, that's giving yourself that space and time to kind of look at the situation and analyze, okay, moving forward, what is this showing me about myself?
Right.
One of the things that this past situation showed me about myself, an area where I need to improve is more wisdom, being prepared. This was an area where I was easily provoked, right? And something maybe that I need to explore in therapy about what mode I get into where I feel like my family, there's something happening with my family. What is up with that? So I've learned to take situations that I'm in, being in adversity, and using them as an opportunity for growth. What is that situation showing about me? And how can I grow? And how can I turn this into a victory?
Right. And I think that's important. It definitely can sometimes feel like you're always in your head, but it's important because when you're able to, figure out the learning, when you're able to move past the struggle, I get what you're saying. I totally get that way myself at times, because it's like I can't focus on what I'm going through right now. Like, what am I supposed to be learning in this situation that I'm in, so that the next time I'll be prepared, and the next time it won't catch me slipping, because you're going to it's just, let's be real. You're going to get caught slipping on the journey. That's just life.
Get tested, but it comes with the territory. It comes with the territory of knowing your purpose, being confident in that, knowing that you're great. And with greatness, it comes,
Absolutely. Comes part for the course. I always like to tell people, to whom much is given, much is required. It is. Peace of mind, happiness, abundance, all the things that we are, self-care that we are trying to get is out here for us, but there's a lot required, and you've got to put in your part.
Gotta do the work. It's work.
It's work.
It's a choice. It's a choice to be committed. It's a choice to remain in joy. It's a choice to be grateful, show gratitude. It's all a choice. It's how, what do you really want? It goes back to the original question. What do you really want? And what are you willing to do to get there?
Absolutely. And I love how you have broken it down and just been so honest about it. Because as we're wrapping up, if there was one thing that you would want my audience to know about you, not something that you've already told us to, what would it be?
Let's see, one thing that I haven't already said. maybe something you guys already noticed, but I'm never going to give up. Ever. Ever, 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 ever. Because I'm really confident in my purpose. And I know that no one can do it like me. No one can accomplish it, right? Because I can't,
Okay.
You have your own purpose, Pamela, and I can't do what you do. I know that for sure. I can't fulfill your purpose. You were put on this earth specifically to do a job that was assigned to you. I have a job that was assigned to me. And it's not a matter of if I'm going to get it done. It's when I complete it. Right. And so I walk in that confidence. I walk in that knowing that I don't have to withhold information. I don't have to hoard. I don't have to backstab. I don't have to do any of that because this is mine. And anything that is for me is not going to pass me by. So you will never, ever, 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 no matter what comes my way, what type of adversity, how hard it is, because I also know that God is not going to give me anything that I can't handle.
That's right.
Right. And it's only in preparation for whatever it is that's next. Right.
Right.
And so you will never, ever, ever, ever see me throwing the towel before it's done.
I love that. And I think that is a perfect way to end. We will never see you throw in the towel. So, ma'am, I have one other question. Okay. So where can we support you? How can we follow you and get to know you? So give us all the deeds. And don't worry, guys, I'm going to put everything in the show notes. So you're cool.
You can find me on all social media outlets: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest. I am Alisha Small. Instagram is _ under all social media platforms. I think Twitter is Alisha Small 33. Facebook is Alisha Small 84. LinkedIn is Alisha Small 84. I just recently released my newly branded website, which is www.livingfulfilledcoaching. I know it's long, livingfulfilledcoaching.com. And I invite everyone to go up there, follow me, reach out to me. I love human connection. I love that just meeting different people, that genuine authenticity. I'm super responsive when I can be, but you follow me on social media, go to the website, check me out, find out more information about my story. I cannot wait to connect with you. Thank you so much.
Oh, we will totally be supporting and following you. So thank you. I really do want to say thank you for this time because I was inspired by you and you definitely helped level set me starting into my day. And so I just really appreciate you. And I definitely look forward to talking to you again soon. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it.
All right, then. So, guys, I will make sure all of Alicia's information is in the show notes. And I hope you guys have an amazing rest of the weekend. Take care of yourselves and each other. And I'll be back next week with another new episode. Talk to you guys again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.